Welcome to Attican Plays Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. All right, hi, this is Attican and welcome to Series 4, Episode 30 of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Now we're going to start this one in Artist Gilmore. Last episode I said I would go off camera and build out the rail connection for Artist Gilmore here. I've done that, and I said I was going to use a cargo station, but for what we need right now, this is more than enough. So I just ran it off the warehouse. I did curve the track to give enough room so that I could put in a crop circle right here for the intersection. But then I got to thinking, what we kind of have here is a symbiotic relationship, or at least part of one, between our new town, which is right here, which is Seldany, and Artist Gilmore, which is, well, oh, right here. Okay, was confusing. All right, so I had started running trains that ran between Artist Gilmore and Seldany, and decided there's no reason to take such a big circuitous route, so I made some changes. Minor change, really. I just put track right through here, added another crop circle coming out of this crops, so that we could have the hookup with this, and then extended this line. There were two fields right here. I just deleted two fields and rebuilt them up here, turned around the other way, so that the farm could still have the same number of crop fields, but then just ran this track over like so, put in another crop circle here for the intersection, and now we've got an easy connection between Artist Gilmore and our new town of Seldany up here. And our new town is doing just fine. Everybody's pretty happy. They've got the right kind of problem, which is the church problem. That's the one we want, because that's the one there's nothing you can do about. And look right here. Look at all the activity, because building that has also opened up some other opportunities. So here we've got, this is the crop train. It's going to make a delivery up to our food and alcohol. Train load of crops. This is meat, I suspect. Yes, it is. This is meat that's coming down from our meat industry, which I'll get into in a minute, and went to Artist Gilmore. Now it's going straight to Seldany. Then it'll go up to our original area up in Virov and Small Town and drop off, and then it'll do an export and come back and do it again. And this is our food train, which is actually, this is making deliveries from here. So these are the ones where we did our little experiment, and we wanted to do, okay, if I keep everything down to 30%, am I going to get pollution? And the answer is, look at that, it's green as can be. There is no pollution whatsoever. In fact, there's no pollution in Artist Gilmore anywhere, including our wood cutting or anything else. So that experiment's working, but not only that, but running at 30% or less, because really less. I mean, it's right now it's 24 out of 50, so it's probably like 15%, but it still is able to feed these people and to create enough excess to have a train that loads up and goes over to this in Kershta. That's the Artist Gilmore thing over here. And Seldany is our new, and I know I'm mispronouncing that, but that's how I say it. Seldany is our new place. So what I've done is kind of set this up. Go here, unload once where you just top off, then come back, get another full load, and top off again, and then take all your excess and export it. I just want to make sure that we keep the food going. I'm prepping for our test right now. Is what I'm doing. So here we can see, if we just kind of let this run, we can watch these trains stare at each other. Are they staring at each other? Have I got something wrong? Aha, aha, aha. Can you see what's wrong? We have, I have. That doesn't look right there, but I think that works. Well, this is weird. All right, so this train is looking into this block to see if it's clear. But if you'll notice, see this connection right here? This train is on that track a little bit. So what we need here, and I had taken that out, but notice when you put that signal back in, now the block is clear actually for both of them. So one of them should go in there. There we go. There goes our crop train goes in. He'll go through. There goes our meat. So you have to be really careful with these setups. So what I really should have here, to be true to our design, the way we want to do this and simplify everything, the crop train should not have come to here. That was the mistake. He should have waited back here for his turn. So I'm going to take that out and that out. See, if we take them both out, now all this area through here is part of the crop circle. And now that would work, and that way we wouldn't have that problem. But anyway, we've got these trains running up to our new town of Saldani, which is beautifully provided for, I should say. It's got plenty of meat. It's got alcohol and food and clothes, and it's made. And I don't even remember if I showed you this on camera or not. I apologize, but had some workers without a job in here, so I added a clothes factory at a small, at a reduced production so that it wouldn't cause pollution. And now this area is creating its own clothes, which makes it super easy now because it's got plenty of meat, plenty of food, plenty of clothes, plenty of alcohol, so looking good there. Now about the meat, we had the problem where I had messed it up, if you'll recall, and had the issue with the trucks making the deliveries and the buses conflicting with one another, getting into this. Put in the little bus stop here, and it's working perfectly to get people over here to work, you can see. And the other thing we're seeing here is really plenty of workers now. So these things are really starting to hum and really producing meat. Now the reason is, over time your population just grows, and we finally played the game enough till we're starting to get a lot of people in these flats. So much so that, look at this. Oh no. Oh man, I promise you, when I first fired this up, there was an adult living with their parents. And I didn't know how to find them. If anybody knows how you could trace that person down other than looking at every single flat and going like that, if there's some way to do that, let me know. But basically what's happening here, we're getting some flats that are starting to get full or very close to full. Look, here's 189 out of 189. So, but look at the 160 university grads, 29 basic education, 0 uneducated. That means these are mature places where people have worked, have gone through the cycle for a while, and this is a city design that's working because the people here are able to get what they want. They're able to get a full education. Those who are born in this area end up being happy. They end up being fully educated, and they go to work. So what's happened is this area has grown, and we've been on a positive cycle here with our meat industry. And check this out. I had to do this. It's a pretty long haul the way we're set up, spread around. It's a pretty long haul to move this meat to the various cities. Well, this would get full waiting on trains to come back, and you can see there's no trains here right now. Sorry, I gotta get up some. And it's still got 60, so I've actually had to daisy chain. I put in a second meat warehouse here with a truck that just goes back and forth and grabs meat from here and moves it to here. And then I actually had to add a third one. So I have 3 meat warehouses all connected to the cargo station. But at the same time, they are also moving. We have the meat going directly here, and then we have trucks that are moving. One moves it to here, another one moves it to here. It's all kind of silly. It's kind of a little daisy chain thing, but that way we've taken our 75 capacity of meat storage and turned it into 3 times as much. So 210, 225, is that right? 215, whatever. 75 times 3. 210 and 15, 225. So we've got 225 tons of storage now, and that way these 3 won't get, well, boy, look at that. Look how full they are. I mean, our meat industry is just cooking now, and these trains are struggling to get back in time. I may have to add a train. My first instinct was just add a train, but it's much better to have the more storage, I think, and keep the 2 trains. It's cheaper and keeps everything moving, and you don't get as much traffic out on your lines. But as far as that meat is concerned, you can see we're doing a good job of keeping our cities up with it. I did find a problem here where I didn't have it going to here, but look at this. We're supplying our republic with meat now and exporting it. So that's all going great. Things are looking pretty good, and we're about ready to kind of prepare for our tests, so to speak, again, and turn off our exports and see how we're doing. And but notice this. This whole area is completely done now. Our construction management guys have done a good job, and I have to say they did a really good job. I remember commenting about how slow it was. Well, one of the reasons it was slow, well, this is kind of weird. They built one of the new flats. If you remember, there was one sitting out there built, and there were a whole bunch of them that hadn't been built. Well, what happened? I don't know, and it seems like the timing was about the time I switched to the test environment. So it's more likely I made an error, right? I mean, the most likely scenario is I goofed up, but the other option is switching over caused a little problem. But what happened was that these offices did not have. Let me back up. I was watching it and saying, "Oh, it seems to be going well. There's progress on all these buildings, but they're not getting finished very fast." And I was willing to say, "Well, they're just slow." But the truth is, if I had just looked in the construction office, I would have seen an error message that said they didn't have a source for prefab panels, which you need for these flats. And for whatever reason, this wasn't set as their source to get that stuff, and it should have been. And it had been prior, I'm fairly certain. I couldn't swear to it, but I'm fairly certain that it could be they built that flat from when we had this thing, the storage over here, and then I just forgot to move them back. That's the likely scenario. Let's go with that I just goofed up. But anyway, this thing's been ready for a while, and I just haven't had time to get to it. So what we're going to do in this episode is set up our lines. We're also going to add some bus stops here. But we're going to set up our lines to get these power plants going and get this coal production going. It is high time that we did that. All right, so because you can see we've got lots of room here. But the other thing we're going to do is we've got these areas with crowded apartments, and we're going to move some people. We're not going to immigrate as many people. We're not going to pay for the immigration. We're going to just move people from within our kingdom or within our republic, and then let it grow organically. Which now this is where we could have done that when we built these. We could have done that, get people from other areas, and I really wish, this was my recommendation, I would like to see, this option right here, I would like to see you be able to change that even after it's built. It'd be nice if we could go in here right now when it's got 0, it's been built, and flip that switch and say get citizens from the rest of the republic, and set your slider and then say execute or whatever. It would be much more flexible. When you have to choose beforehand, you're not. I think it's pretty difficult to know which option you want to go with or how you want to do it. All right, so let's just start that. Let's start moving some people in, and before we do that, let's set up our bus lines. So with the buses, I've only got the one small stop here. I really want to have probably 3 small bus stops. They can easily walk there. I think I'm going to have one for workers, one for passengers, and one for students, maybe. Because there's a lot of discussion right now, and it is true, and it's a problem. Our bus stops are a one at a time kind of a deal. Johnny has mentioned this on our comments, and I've seen it out on the Steam discussions as well, that a bus comes up here and only one bus at a time goes in and out of here. So even though there's 2 parking spaces, one bus will come in, and then the other ones are waiting, and then the next one will come in. They don't, it's not like if you had coming in from both sides, one would go this way, one would come in. They just wait, and they're almost like the crop circle approach, where it's real simple, only one at a time. So we're going to take care of that and keep from having some giant traffic by putting in multiple. So we're going to add an extra one here. And we're going to add an extra one over here. Oh man. And let's just check this out. Let's see if our construction folks get on this. Let's see if they figure out that they need to do something. It's within their search area. Oh, I see a little movement. Yeah, they figured it out. So we'll let the construction guys build that. That's going to slow us down a bit, but we'll let them handle it. And in fact, we're going to let them build. Shoot. This is where construction gets iffy to me. Is I need them to be able to go through here to get to that, but I would love to improve that road. It's almost a thing where you'd be almost better off doing it yourself. But anyway, we'll let those guys get on with that, and we'll come back to the power when they finish that. And I think they'll be pretty fast. We've got 4 offices. Did they all find it? Yes. Okay, working well. Beautiful. All right, so go do. Wait a minute. Did I see a message there? No. All right. So looking good on that. So let's come back to that. Now, what else do we? Oh, what I want to do now is really just check to see if we're ready to turn off our imports of meat and food, clothing, electronics, and meat. And you could say, in fact, Modak has mentioned, we're not actually creating electronics, but electronics don't matter for their happiness. And I do want to look at our goals and remind you what it is we're trying to do. All right, so here's our goal. So what we have to do to kind of pass this is turn off the imports of alcohol, food, clothes, meat, electronics, maintain happiness, have high education, and make decent money. That's basically what we set out to do when we set up our kind of our self-inflicted goals, if you will, for this playthrough. So that being said, I think it's high time we tried to do this, but I want to just go through and check and make sure we're ready. So our meat productions, as we've seen, is quite good. We seem to be distributing it well. Now food, Let's just see about food. Food. Yeah, they've got 77 tons. They could have more. It wouldn't hurt them. And I'll tell you what we could do. I mean, if we think about this as just trying to solve a scenario rather than trying to play, a quote perfect game or whatever, we could we could localize some of this food production and make sure we've got enough, just to make sure we pass. How are we looking over here? We've got plenty of food and alcohol. We've got clothes. We've got meat, so we're good in this area. By the way, we're doing just fine here. And now I think, let's see the pollution. Yeah, right now, you can see the pollution stops at the trees. I have seen it before where it was out in here. So I don't know if that's just a function of perhaps we had a period where this wasn't producing as much and the pollution abated, or if the trees are actually helping. So I was ready to say this failed, that the tree idea didn't work, but now I'm wondering if it does. So the results of that test are inconclusive at this point. But at any rate, Molka is in good shape on food, clothing, alcohol, and what have you. I think Artist Gilmore should be in very good shape. Let me see. In their warehouse, they've got plenty of everything. And they're even making their own food and alcohol to the point where they have more than they can use. So Artist Gilmore's in good shape. Up here, how are we looking up here? Well, one thing, as our population has grown, we're getting really good participation in these guys. So we're starting to produce more and more of the fabric and the clothing and the food and the alcohol up here. So those are working nicely. There are some things that could be better. Look at this. And look at this. Unable to get food, which I don't... yeah, I know. This, I think when I'm messing around with all these lines... when I was messing around with all these lines right here, I may have dropped a couple of buses, because I think there's only 2 buses running here, and we're getting some pretty big pileups here. Let me run it a second. Yeah, see, there's still 44 passengers waiting and the bus is leaving. So let's put a couple more buses on that line right there. And I think we were running this one, so let's just do that. And let's copy this line. And I think I've said this before, but I should be able to copy straight into here the same way you do with the train depot. But that would be nice. So let's start that one and start that one. So that should help with that. So we'll come back and look at that and see if that doesn't help. If we can't get do a better job getting people over here to go downtown, because from here they can walk to everything they need. So if we can just get them over here timely, we should be good on that. All right, so what else is there to look at? I do want to see, are we getting brownouts? Nothing there. Nothing there. Oh, look at this. We are getting brownouts right here. And I tell you what, these city lights, these street lamps, I don't know about these things. And these guys here don't have power. Well, that's the brownout. All right. So let's see. I have extended the line. This is the line that goes out. If you recall, we ran a line from Znatov over here to import power for this area. Are they getting brownouts? So they're good. But what I need to do here now is give this area more power from that second source, because the problem is that right now, until we hook up this power, and even after we hook it up, if all the power for this area down here is coming from Molna, and I'm not sure we're getting enough. Yeah, see, we are maxing out how many megawatts you can get from Molna. So what we need to do to stop the brownouts is supply this area with some more power from here. And I've done one of those, but we need to give it more power from this area. So what I'm going to do is set up another substation that's down here. Let's see. We're getting them in that area. Let's put one right down here and see if this helps. And the hardest thing I think about the power is that when you see the problem, it's nighttime. Well, you want to fix it. You don't want to just wait and let it go. But at the same time, it's nighttime. It's really hard to do anything. All right, let's flatten this area out a little bit. Okay, we need one down here. Okay, that's better. Now we need one over here. And I'm wide open to if anyone has a really great way to plan out I've said this before, to plan out how you want to do your wiring and have clean stuff instead of all this crap that I typically end up with. I would love to see how you do it. If you have some thoughts on that, please share them. You notice I'm doing this in dollars, even though we're down here really pretty far away from the NATO money, but okay, I don't think that was enough, but we'll see. Without power supply, why would he be without power supply? That's the one I just built, wasn't it? Power. Okay, I don't understand this. He has power. We ran a line. To this, and it doesn't have power. Did it get shorted out by the brownout? I don't know. They have no power. They have no power. Okay. Well, they have power at least. Well, we're not overstressing Znatov. It has enough power. So I'm at a bit of a loss here. Where is that? Right there, I think. We have power here. We have power here. Yet we don't have power right there. And I don't see anything happening to cause that to change. Okay, this one has power now. It's not even close to pushing its capacity. Well, that one has power now. All right, yeah, okay, now someone explain this to me. This voltage switch, because I've seen this before, this voltage switch is showing it's drawing 0.6 megawatts, but it has 0 volts. Now, does that mean it needs 0.6 megawatts and it has nothing? Or is this a defect? Is this wrong? Are these buildings, this building has power. This building is without power. Okay, something's wrong. Well, again, this isn't what I planned to show you, but I'm really at a loss now. How do these buildings not have power? What have I done? And we really, I've said this before, we could really use an overlay where you can see your power. You can see where your connections are and see where you have power and where you don't. Powered buildings and unpowered buildings, it's very clumsy going through it like this. And it's probably made worse by the fact that the wiring is very, without power supply. What is going on here? Okay, he's totally tapped out again. He's supplying all 10 that he can supply. So do we just have too much going on here? But I mean, look at this. I'm thinking, well, these are really busy, but they draw nothing. They draw minuscule amounts. And what I really don't get is why doesn't this one have power or this? Oh, well, that's two different things. This switch is running off the Molna one, but this one is running off the Znatov, which we're not even coming close to taxing. And I can't really tell, is there a problem with the connection? There's just almost no way to tell that. It looks like it's connected here. It looks like we have wire. There. There's a little gap right there. Yep, that was it. It's really, really, really hard to see. Okay, the power mystery is slowly starting to make more sense because now this one is coming off of Znatov, which has enough capacity, and it now has power. We just had a little disconnect down here. This one does not have power because it's on the Molna grid. And so we are stretching it out. We are asking it to do too much. With all the power being drawn from everything around, we're asking it to do too much. So we really do need our to add to it by getting one of these factories going. And that being said, let's just go out here and get some people. Let's move 20 from that one. And 20 from that one. And 20 from that one. 20 from that one. And where's the full one? Okay, so now we've put 100 people in here. And let's get a bus stop dedicated. Let's see, this one, I think we'll make this one, let's make this one the passenger one. So this bus stop will run downtown to drop people off to go shopping. And let's build one. Oh, we've got this one going. I'm sorry, Mr. Construction. You're going to have to go faster. Okay, so we're going to make this one into a workers. And the first thing we're going to do is set up a line that goes here. Now we've got this one turned off. I'm actually, that one's, oh wait a minute. Yeah, I've got the workers set to 0. I'm going to do the same thing on this one for now. Set it to 0. And this one will max out and make sure it's the one. This one is plugged into the same, into the Molka grid. Now this one over here, if you remember from another episode, this one goes out like this. The line goes out here, goes up, it goes past Molka, and goes all the way up to Artist Gilmore and to all the way up to Barislav. So this was the Barislav grid. This one is the Molna grid, and this one is undefined. It's actually, my plan is for it to go back and hook into the Znatov grid. So I want people to work here. So let's set up buses. Let's get 4 good sized fast buses. What do we got? 100. Yeah, here we go. And let's set these guys up to go from here to here. And it's interesting. We'll see what happens with this. Once I start these buses, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Copy. Okay, I've got the. I think I've got this set. No, I've got it unspecified right now, but eventually we'll set it up where. Well, you know what? I want to tell it to go here because they can actually walk up here too. I want to make sure this power plant gets people. That's our goal right now, and let's make sure that it is, for now, importing some coal. All right, so we've got coal coming in. We've got workers going over there, hopefully. Now, let's make sure we set up our passenger line to get these people. Okay, I don't think they can walk. Yeah, they can't walk to this train platform, which would take them to this downtown. So we're going to make sure they can get to... Let's see, what do we want to do? We got 3 of them. These are going to be workers. This one's going to be... What's the... This one's going to be passengers. This one will be students. And you don't have to split them up like this, but it's just easier for me to keep track of. And this road isn't finished yet. We'll let our construction guys finish that. That's not critical right now. This one is our passengers. Good. So let's set up, and you see there's already people waiting. So let's set up a line. Let's get some more buses. And let's run these buses. And I keep doing 4, and I don't know why. Again, we don't have any route information, so I don't really have a... I'm just doing it by feel, which I don't particularly care for. I'd rather have the numbers as to how long these routes take and all that good stuff, but you know, we'll do what we can right now. So they're going to pick up and go downtown, start. Now, I really would love to be able to copy right into there, but I can't, so I just go paste, paste, paste. Okay, so we should, these passengers should, well, and you know what? Oh, we don't have this set up yet, do we? All right, they're working on it. They're working on it. So, all right, once that's done, we'll set up our line for our, here we go. Let's see if we got, all right, good. We got passengers going downtown. They should go right down here and get off and go shopping and do whatever. There they go. They're flocking in here to go shopping. Good deal. All right. Do we have power yet? We don't have any people yet. Do we have any on the way? Here comes a bus. It was empty. It was empty. All right, all right. Do we have any people? We're 0 for 3. 0 for 4. Stop. All right, what's wrong? I think all of our workers are we're going over here to do this building. I'm sorry. Go away. I don't want to assign these people to work anywhere. Looks like we've already Well, we've grown to somehow. Okay, all 4 of them can walk there. We're getting 0 workers. All right, slow down. Why? Why? Food, culture, sport, and meat. Look. This one. Gotta check this out. He can walk to kindergarten and school, and kindergarten again, and this bus stop, and another school, and another kindergarten. I don't think he can walk to any playgrounds, and we don't really have playgrounds down here, so we're going to have to put in another playground that's closer. And we're getting no workers. All right, so there, finally, we're seeing some people coming over here to go to work. Here we go, finally. Finally, some people. So it's nighttime. All right, we're not getting brownouts. We are getting some extra power now from this. So our problem was not the capacity of the high voltage line. In other words, we're not over the 13 megawatts usage. No, they're still out of power right here. Stop. Of course, it's about to be daytime. No, he's got power. What's the deal? This one is without supply. Oh, man. Okay, that has power. This one does not. So, do we have a wiring problem again? doesn't look like it. It's kind of strange. The little red, notice how if I move my cursor right over that one, nothing happens. If I move over here to this one, see how you get that red dot that links into it? But that's always the one that's connected. See, it can connect to all three of those. But you can't actually go anywhere with it. It's kind of weird that it lets you get that. But other than doing that, I don't know how to figure out. This one has power. This one does not. All right, and this one does. So now that looks like a defect to me. Here we have power. This is the transformer right up here. This is the switch, and this line runs in like this to that switch, and then goes over here to this substation, which is this one right here. So the transformer has power, the switch does not, and the substation does, and yet the switch shows drawing megawatts. So does that mean the switch just passes? No, it's got an error message. I think that's a defect. I really do. And I think we've seen that before. But let's see up here. This switch has power. See, the next switch in line with it has power. So for whatever reason, this one doesn't. And I just think that's a mistake, because there should be power. Okay, they do have power now. And I'm going to give them another kindergarten because, as we all know, you can't have enough kindergartens. Footpaths and kindergartens. Those are the names of this game. They have power. Well, now this one does have power. Okay, I don't get that one. But it has power now. And the good news is, I think, yes, we are generating power out of this. Not a ton, but look at that, 4 meg, and that's enough to put us over the edge. So now we've got 10 potentially coming out of Molna. Let's see how much is really coming out right now. Okay, it's given us 6, and we're getting 4 from our power. So Molna has given us the 6 extra we need because we're not producing enough here. So that gives us the 10, and that's getting us through the day. And then at night, when our needs are going up, that's where we're getting over the 10. That's when we were having our brownouts. But now, because we've got the additional power coming here, now we're up to 13. Now keep in mind, we're only got 13 potential because our high voltage lines can only carry 13 megawatts. But we'll see if that's enough to get us through the night here. And what I think I'll probably do is run an additional high power line off of this power plant, maybe over in, oh man, there are just wires going everywhere. This is awful. Run a line out like this to another transformer so that we can wire up some of this off of directly off of that and increase the throughput, because again, now because we have the power plant and the Molna, our capacity is 13, which is the capacity of our lines. It's probably enough, but I have no way, honestly, I have no way of knowing. I guess you could go through and add up all these, but oh my word. I'd love some reporting that told me what the power needs were. I mean, if you're going to give us a city hall, give us a city hall that tells us something that we can use. So, and I apologize, I sound like I'm griping here, but I do not mean to. But the city hall it's just telling us a cut down version of the same stuff we already have up here. Now that's useful because it's telling you what's happening in your little area, but it would be so much more useful to know something about power, or something about how much power are we drawing in this area, so that we could plan out how much we need without having to go through and click every single little building and add up how much they're drawing and all that good stuff. So that would be really useful if we had City Hall that told us power information and told us about our power grid. That would be pretty awesome. All right. So, all right, we got our one power going. Obviously, we need to build this up completely and get both of these going and get these going so that we're producing coal, and that would cut down our costs on our steel production. It would cut down our costs here in our power plants, and it would give us more power and make sure we don't have brownouts going down the road. So let's stop right there. This has probably gotten pretty long, and in the next one. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Off camera, I'm going to go through and just continue to double check. We've already kind of looked and everything looks pretty good to go ahead and shut off our imports of food, clothing, alcohol, and meat, and electronics. And I'm going to, off camera, go ahead and do that so that we can start testing this. And the way we're going to judge it is we're going to look at a year back, and we're going to look at our imports, and we're going to see, like that would be a failure. That little tiny bit of meat that we imported, that was probably during the time, well, let's see, this year. Yeah, see, this would be a failure because we imported some food, we imported meat, and what else? Looks like, yeah, we even imported some clothes. So we're going to have to look at this. I'm going to take a look and get this thing ready to pass our test. Then we're going to get our test passed, and hopefully, and then we're going to kind of discuss through a poll or something what to do next. Whether we keep going with this, start over, quit playing this silly game. We'll see. We'll decide after we pass our test. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.